Now who got game when it comes to this basketball? Facing other opponents that's over 6 feet tall. Can you shoot a three-pointer? Can you do the finger roll? Can you cross over, drop it down the lane, take it to the hole? Can you break ankles and shake them up? Take your ball behind your back and straight lay it up. Stand at the three-point line and kind of jay it up. You got to show them skills.
Back in 2001, EA released NBA Street, a fast-paced, crazy, all-over-the-place style street basketball game featuring the players of the NBA. Recently we got our hands on builds of NBA Street Volume 2. The game itself is largely the same as the previous game, but it has a ton of new features, bulks up the gameplay in a number of stylistic ways, and drastically improves the overall graphical and audio presentation. While the first NBA Street featured only 2 main modes of play, this year's game features 2 main story modes that are actually split versions of the first game's story modes. In the NBA Challenge mode, you choose from one of the 29 NBA franchises. You choose a region of the US and you take on a series of teams in that region. Each time you finish the region, you take on what essentially qualifies as a boss team, which consists of classic NBA players. In the Be a Legend mode, you start out by creating your own player in the Create a Baller mode. You then choose your own teammates out of a selection of different, generic players, and you start challenging other generic street teams. As you progress through the mode, you eventually become the champion of street ball, and as you beat teams, you can actually add the players from those teams to your own team. Other than playing just the standard game of, first 1 to 21 points wins, there are also a number of tournaments you can compete in this mode as well. The game also features an exhibition mode where 1 to 4 players can play a pickup game using any of the players, whether they be NBA or otherwise. There's also a tutorial to help coach you through the various, moves and shots that the game contains. Anybody familiar with the first NBA Street should feel right at home playing NBA Street Volume 2. The game controls very similar to the first one, using a 3-button scheme for offense. One button to pass, 1 button to shoot, 1 button to do crazy fake-out moves. On defense, you have buttons for blocking and for stealing. Hitting any of the basic buttons in conjunction with 1, 2, or more of the turbo buttons will allow you to perform more powerful and more crazy version of each trick. Like, hitting 2 of the turbo buttons while you're blocking will cause you to leap up and actually grab the ball out of the air as opposed to just swatting it away. Or, when doing a dunk, hitting 3 of the turbo buttons will cause you to do like some sort of crazy spinning dunk that is entirely improbable in real life, but a lot of fun to watch. Doing these different kinds of flashy moves and, crazy combos will eventually allow your Game Breaker meter to fill up. When that does fill up, you get to do a Game Breaker shot. Doing this kind of shot actually takes points away from your opponents. The other options are you can pocket it and try to do a level 2 Game Breaker, which will take away more points and actually involves all 3 players on your team in some sort of just completely insane shot. Also, you have the ability to cancel an opponent's Game Breaker with your own if you want to. Volume 2 features a host of new shots and tricks. Some of these, range from the just more stylistic dunks to crazy fake-out moves such as the Off the Hize, which involves throwing the ball at your opponent's head and actually bouncing it off of it, or the Back to Papa, which involves throwing the ball at the backboard and either back to yourself or to a teammate to just completely fake out the defense. Where NBA Street 2 truly excels is in terms of visuals. The game looks, for lack of a better term, completely amazing. All the character models are extremely well done. They all have their own unique look and style. They all look pretty much how you would want street basketball players to look in this kind of game. The game sports a ton of animations for all the dunks, all the shots, all the moves, everything. Everything flows seamlessly. There's very little in the way of clipping or anything of that nature. It all looks just absolutely finished in every way. On top of all of that, the Create a Baller mode has a ton of attributes you can assign for your players, whether it be faces, bodies, facial hair, afros, outfits, throwback jerseys that you can unlock throughout the game. Everything you could possibly want for your own created player is there, and all looks really good. The game also sports some equally impressive sound. All the in-game effects are pretty much what you could possibly want from this game. The squeak of the sneakers against the blacktop, balls hitting the backboard, players kind of smacking each other around and, you know, jawing back and forth, the cars in the background honking their horns. It just all gives the right atmosphere for what you want out of this kind of game. Instead of last year's obnoxious megaphone-wielding announcer that everybody seemed to pretty much hate, this year's game has a new guy, Bobbito Garcia. He's very enthusiastic, he talks a lot about food, and he seems to pretty much get the job done in terms of, you know, calling the game properly. His insults are all pretty amusing in one way or another. You know, he's very, 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 very happy when you make good shots. He doesn't wear thin the way last year's announcer really did, and in fact, really actually does a pretty solid job.
In my house, the bounce back can't hold a candle to him.
Also completely redone this year is the soundtrack, featuring beats produced by hip-hop producer Just Blaze. There's also a number of licensed tracks from known hip-hop artists such as Redman, Eric Sermon, Benzino, and Lords of the Underground. It's an eclectic mix of music that actually makes for a really nice audio experience while you're playing the game. Overall, NBA Street Volume 2 is looking extremely good. It plays great, it sounds great, it looks great. Everything about the game improves on the previous game in some form or another, making it just a fantastic sequel in every way. Anybody who was a fan of the first game, or really anybody who likes basketball in any way, should love this game completely and really, really look towards picking this up when it comes out. The game is due out April 28th, and you should look for our review in the coming weeks.
You got to hoop it up, alley oop it up, and when the ball is loose, see how fast you can scoop it up. Have your game face on, I hope you're quick on your feet, playing on concrete and taking NBA to the street.
For my players in the front of me.